Let's bring him in. Christian Wolanin.
Speaking of the power play, though, here we go.
That's right. Christian, what's worse? Having to wait to start an interview or me saying I didn't want to talk to you at training camp?
I don't mind waiting. It kind of hurts to get rejected in person.
Sorry, man.
Just text me or something. Tell me you're not
sorry.
interested. I'm just kidding. No, I was good. I was just making it a little fun.
Absolutely. Christian, 4-game point streak for you. I feel like you probably had a dozen of those last year as well. How good you feeling this year with the start with you guys in the Abbotsford Canucks?
I mean, honestly, it's obviously nice to put up points, and as you said, was fortunate enough last year to have a good group around me to keep putting the puck in the net. But really, at this point, it's just about correcting the other side of things. I think I've proven in the American League that I can put up points and be an offensive contributor. But it's about dialing in the other areas that have probably kept me out of the NHL, in my opinion. So more focus on those things. And as I said, it's nice to get those points and more importantly, get wins. But there's a lot of other details that I'm trying to dial in on a little bit.
A lot of us that aren't in hockey aren't on the ice practicing this every day. Like, what are certain things that you could do? Like, is there things you do day to day, or does it actually take like being into a game to say, like, I'm trying to improve my defensive game, or I'm trying to improve puck movement, or whatever it is? Like, how do you improve on those type of things, or at least try to?
I think for me, it's I think I said it to you last year. I think the Woolies, not defensively, whatever. I think in my opinion, that's kind of an old. I think it's old news. You know, I think it's something that maybe I got early in my career when I was in Ottawa, and maybe it was a little bit fair back then. But I think over time I've proven that I want to be out there in defensively important situations, and B, I'm continuously improving on them. And as always, I like to give credit to my coaches and credit to Ags down here for being patient with me. And for me right now, it's a lot of boxing out and, in my opinion, just being a little bit harder to play against. Being a physical guy is not necessarily in my ID, but it's something that I know I can improve on because it's really just a mentality. So to answer your question, obviously in practice, I'm not going to be cross-checking my own guys and taking shots at my own guys and putting them in bad situations, but boxing out, you know, technique, little things like that. And today we actually did probably, let's say we did 6 drills in practice. 4 out of the 6 were boxing out and working on keeping guys out of our net front. And credit to, again, our coaches for realizing in the game this weekend maybe there was a couple too many opportunities behind us and shots from the point with too much in front of Artie. So we had a good team practice and really drilled in on that today. And not only good for the team, but good for me personally.
A lot of the guests joining us here from the Abbotsford Canucks bring up Ags a lot, and that's Gary Agnew, the associate coach out there as well. Is he like, why are you guys bringing him up so much? It seems, is he like slipping you guys Reese's peanut butter cups at practice, or like what's it like? Everybody seems to bring this guy up when we ask him about developing out there in Abbotsford.
Well, I think it's I'll give Ags his flowers. I think it's all 3 of them. You know, Olms is phenomenal with our power play. He's phenomenal with the forwards. Obviously, I'm not dealing with him as much in 5-on-5 stuff. But the power play is phenomenal. JC is, you guys know, I've said nothing but positive things about him for the last year and a half. And Ags is just, I mean, he's unreal. You know, I asked him the other day, he's been getting paid to coach since 1988, right? So not only is that incredible, but it's a testament to how he's adapted, because you don't coach since 1988 and not adapt. You know, you find a way to continuously improve and as a coach and especially with the way we are these days with even communicating with players. It's not, I'm sure he's talking to the guys a lot differently than he was in 1988. And he's just I mean, not only a good coach, but a great person, a great leader in our locker room. Of course, I know it's weird to say that about a coach, but he really is. And, you know, like I said, a guy with a track record like that, it's crazy for me not to try and get as much out of him as I can. And again, I'm thankful for his patience with me and the time that he gives me, and not only me, but all of our defensemen. I know that whether it be the 6 that are playing or the 6 that are sitting, he's willing to take time with them at all times. And really, as a player, it's all you can ask for.
It feels like almost regardless of position, regardless of age, anybody we talk to that gets sent down, they kind of feel like they have a plan that's been kind of communicated to them from the coaching staff, management. Like, what was the message to you when you were sent down? Like, do you feel like you have something that you're like, okay, if I do this or I do these other things, I'll be able to get to the NHL level?
No, no negativity or anything, but there wasn't really any message. Just go down to Abbotsford and play hockey. And
So
um, I'm thankful for the staff here and getting me back into it. I'm thankful that I still have the opportunity to play and have an important role on this team. And I guess with no message from really anybody up top, it's or my agents or anybody, it's kind of up to me to be a good leader. And if it's somebody else that they want to call up, then I'll be a good teammate to him and encourage him. And there's a couple young defensemen, a lot younger than last year's core in terms of experience. And if I'm going to be the American League kind of veteran and leader, then that's what I'll do, and I'll do that to the best of my ability. And as for kind of what they're looking for me to get back to the next level, there hasn't been a whole lot of communication, but I've had enough experience in pro and myself there. I can kind of look in the mirror and say, in my opinion, here's what I need to get better at. And as I said to you guys, it's just being a little bit harder to play against, a little bit better in my own zone behind my dots. And fortunately for me, the puck moving and the offensive stuff generally comes if I'm taking care of that stuff.
So do you almost take it as a compliment then, that it's like management must feel that this is a guy who just knows what he needs to work on and knows what he needs to go do? Like, you just laid it out for us pretty clearly.
Yeah, I don't know about a compliment. Maybe it's just an age thing. You kind of honestly, if there's one thing I'm trying to avoid, it's that label as an American leaguer. Just as easily as some guys get that National League label, and they never experience any minor league games, so it's never really even a thought for them going down there. Guys can get that American League rep, and again, I'm more than thankful. I have nothing but positive things to say about my time in Abbotsford, but I want to be an NHLer. I want to be one of those guys where you say that's an NHLer playing in the minors. And again, no negativity. I'm more than thankful for all the opportunities I've gotten here in Abbotsford, but the end goal is always to be up in Vancouver, and not only up in Vancouver, but playing kind of the same level that I play in Abbotsford at that level.
I think we've said that same comment you just said. This is an NHL playing in the AHL. We said that when you aren't on the show, so we'll say it when you are on the show as well here, Christian. I think, I guess, how do you evaluate your preseason then? Because it was a little bit of a up and down preseason for a lot of guys. I know, like the shellacking against Calgary wasn't great to start things off, but it kind of balanced out a little bit. How did you think your preseason went?
I thought it was okay. I think last year's preseason I was really good, like noticeably good. I think this year I wasn't to that level. But at the same time, I got to give myself a little bit of a grace period. I didn't get defenseman of the year last year through the first 6 games, right? Like in my opinion, I was bad through the first 6 games in the minors last year. It took me a little bit to get my feet under me, and my conditioning was great. All my testing was great. So it wasn't a matter of not being prepared. But anytime you take a couple months off and you go right into it, it's tough to adjust. And I played that back to back in Seattle. If there was one game I could probably have back, it'd probably be that one. Felt a little bit tired and felt like they were skating pretty fast. So like I said, I can look in the mirror and say that I had not more to give, but I probably had better games to play. But that being said, I'm back here and I'm getting into the flow of things again. And my mentality my message to myself right now is to wait properly, wait for my opportunity properly. That way, if I do get that phone call, it's not like, okay, I got to get my NHL game going. I've been playing like an NHLer. I'm ready to go up and play in the NHL right now.
That's a good mentality. That's very nice to hear. Question from the chat here. How do you think Matt Irwin has fit in, and what does he bring to the team?
He's a phenomenal guy. Truly one of the best teammates I've had. And we have a lot of them in Abbotsford. And it's early. I can't give him that much credit. No, but he's a great guy. He's a great leader. He's had that, his career is an interesting one in the sense that he's been, one of the 5, 6, 7 guys for a lot of it. And you can really tell by his mentality, his attitude, the way he makes everybody feel included. There was no sulking, there was no moping about being in the minors. It's honestly refreshing. And again, it goes for it's a credit to the culture that we've built in Abbotsford, and the fact that he fit right in and is one of the fellas is a credit to him. And again, we couldn't be happier to have him in Abbotsford.
I story about Matt Irwin. He played in my hometown. So 10-year-old me was out there watching him play junior hockey, and the Irwin jerseys at the Frank Crane Arena in Nanaimo. I tell you, man, like he had that place going nuts. Christian, I wanted to ask about your partner here. You've been playing with Jett Woo quite a bit. I feel like you and Jett in similar spots. You guys both want to be in the NHL. It's something that Jett said to us in the summer. And I guess, how do you guys kind of work together here to both be able to accomplish that goal? You guys are playing top pairing minutes, playing on both special teams units, getting that opportunity. How do you guys feel like you're clicking so far in the early parts of this? And can you use each other to almost build your way back to the NHL?
Yeah, I think Jett and I have a great relationship. We're great friends off the ice, which obviously helps. But on the ice, I think, and then Jett can tell you this, I don't really have a problem with it. But I have high expectations, not only for myself but for us as a unit. So, for example, Friday night, we're not playing great, either of us, to start the game. And I come back and I say, "This isn't good enough, Jett," in an aggressive tone, of course. And he just smiles and looks at me. He goes, "I know." And it's just nice to have built-in chemistry with a guy. Very rarely in pro hockey do you get to play with a guy for more than a couple weeks at a time, or whatever. With especially the American League, with the roster always moving and stuff like that. So I'm thankful that JC gave us a chance. JC and Alex gave us a chance to play together again. I'm thankful that Jett is he understands me as a person, and I like to think that I understand him as a person. So our chemistry is going to continue to get better, and I think we balance each other out well. I like to think that I'm a puck moving, sees the ice pretty well guy, and he's great at separating guys from the puck, giving me a chance to go in there and get that puck. And not only that, he's gotten better with the puck over the last year that I've been playing with him. So as you said, it's no, and that's what I like about this group of American leaguers. There's nobody that's in denial about what the end goal is. Sometimes guys will try and be they'll pretend, right? I'm happy here. I'm happy here. And everybody wants to be at the next level. So why not be honest about it? As long as it's in an unselfish way. And I think that we've really balanced that really well here in Abbotsford, where it's, if you're going to be here in Abbotsford, you're going to play your ass off for the guy next to you, for the group. And if you get called up, what I like the most is we cheer for each other, whether it's a lefty going up or a center. Lefties are cheering for the lefties that get the opportunity. Centers are cheering for the centers. There's no negative anything. It's we're truly in each other's corner, and I think that's a really tough culture to build, and I'm thankful that we built it over the little bit that I've been here.
Christian, who's setting that standard for like the culture? Who's the leaders of that? Like, is it the players? Is it the coaches? Is it management? Like, who's because that sounds like a great spot to be in for an AHL team. Like, who's the ones that are leading that charge?
I think it's a credit to everybody. I really do. I think, as you know, I'm going to stop pumping those the coaches' tires. I've said too much about them, but that staff is amazing. And RJ, I talked about him with you last year. RJ is a true leader. He will be in the NHL at some point. I'm sure he's had opportunities. It's just a matter of when he feels like it, in my opinion. He's a phenomenal GM that sets a standard, that sets a precedent for our team, and we all fall in line. And I think it's a group effort, and again, it takes all of us to create that environment and to keep that environment. And I think we've done a great job to this point.
Got a question in here about Halloween costumes. Who's the worst Halloween costume you've seen? I know you guys will probably have your party a week away from now. Who was the worst one from last year? Because we saw a lot of photos from last year kind of show up there. And I can't think of one that was really bad, but you were there in person. Like, who stuck up?
I don't even know what we're doing this year because we're on the road. We're in Coachella this year. So I can't speak on this year yet. Maybe I'll come back to you with that one. But last year, I'll give it to Ars. I think Ars had he went to the Halloween store probably night of, right? So he had a random mask, like a Harry Potter scarf, a frickin' like a knight in shining armor, like plate over. It was like a mix of 8 costumes, and he just sat on the couch in the corner. I think he was concussed or something. So he just sat on the couch in the corner. I'm like, and everybody's going up to him, "What are you?" And he would just say something like, "I'm
concussed."
I'm concussed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it was brutal though. It was a mix of multiple costumes. So I can't even really tell you what he was, but yeah, concussed.
Christian, we'll let you go on that one. Appreciate you hopping on here. I know you guys are back into action real quick at the Abbotsford Center tomorrow and Wednesday against the Colorado Eagles. I'll be out there on Wednesday to check in on you guys. But appreciate you taking the time again, man. I know that just reading from the chat here, our producer's already pumping your tires. You can even read the chat. He's pumping you up here in the chat here. But lots of stuff, and we appreciate you coming on again, man. It's always a great chat with you, Christian.
Thank you guys for having me. Always wanted to come on, so thank you guys again.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. There he is, Christian Wolanin, top pairing defenseman in the AHL right now. But I tell you, he's going to play. You know he's going to play.
I just want the record to show I always want to talk to him. Just putting that on the record.
Yeah.